Well, another storm is brewing for the royal family. Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir, Nobody's Girl, has finally hit shelves today, opening the floodgates to more scandal and putting fresh scrutiny on Prince Andrew. Police have launched an investigation over new claims he used a palace bodyguard to dig up dirt on his sex abuse accuser, Giuffre.
The revelations came 24 hours after Prince Andrew renounced his royal titles under pressure from King Charles, following further revelations about his ties to late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And now politicians are calling for Andrew to be stripped from his Prince title once and for all. Yeah, we're joined now by royal commentator Angela Mollard. Morning to you, Ange. Giuffre's book is finally out, posthumously, of course. How damning is it for Andrew?
Oh, hugely damning. It goes across all the episodes that she had with Prince Andrew, all three of them, in a lot of detail. Most of it we've known from the court cases, but this gives more detail. But she also makes the claim in it, through the author, obviously, that she was hassled, that Andrew used online trolls to hassle her, and whether or not that can be proven or not, we're unsure, but it's another claim against him.
OK. Now, Prince Andrew has surrendered his titles, but there are calls for his dukedom to be taken away as well. And this can't be removed by the monarch alone. What's the process?
That's right. So the titles that currently are in abeyance, or what we would call dormant, he's just put them to the side. Yeah. There is massive pressure brewing in Britain from MPs, from the establishment, from the press, for this to actually go through as an act of parliament. That's the only way you can take the dukedom off him, is by going through. Now, that could be a lengthy process. It could take a year, but the pressure is building for that. I think it could very well happen. There's also calls for him to lose the Prince title. The King can do that alone by letters patent. He wouldn't have to go through Act of Parliament. So whether or not that happens, of course, Andrew is sitting there as he could end up being regent were something to happen to Charles and William, and George was still a child, because Harry lives in another country. He is the next person in line to the throne, and that is being now seen as a massive problem.
Yes,
after William.
After William, yes. But if something happened to both, yes.
To this day, I mean, he denies the accusation, and he's put that in black and white. He's denied it yet again. Why quit the titles now, do you think?
Oh, he had to quit the titles because he had maintained in the Newsnight interview with Emily Maitlis that he had ceased communication with Jeffrey Epstein. Then the Mail on Sunday last weekend showed emails that showed he was still in touch with him, and they weren't just, they were highly damning emails, because they said, we're in this together, we'll play again soon. Of course, this was the day after the photo of Andrew and Virginia Giuffre was first published in the Mail on Sunday. Now, if he had an issue with that photo, as he's since maintained, that it's a fake, that it was manipulated, he would certainly have raised that with Epstein, which he didn't. So he had to lose the title because that was further damning. Look, it went on all last week. Was he or was he not? I think the King should have got ahead and put out the statement. Andrew putting it out wasn't strong enough, and there is no letting go of the pressure in Britain at the moment. This is the biggest push, the biggest scandal, that I think, since the abdication of Edward VIII.
Is that right? Yeah. What does it mean for Andrew's ex-wife Fergie and the kids, Princess Beatrice and Eugenie?
Well, this is a really interesting question, Larry, because, of course, Fergie has lost her title now too. She is no longer the Duchess of York. But in all my years of royal reporting, this is the first time I have seen journalists start to turn on Beatrice and Eugenie. Beatrice went to see her parents yesterday at Royal Lodge, but there was some anecdotes coming out about Eugenie which suggest her own entitlement, and the questions are being asked, to what extent, considering how her parents have operated, does this now fall on how much has it influenced the daughters in the way that they behave?
Now, it's also just been revealed that Prince Andrew has not paid rent on his royal lodge for 2 decades. Now the Crown's under pressure to publish the lease terms.
That's right.
So what do we know about that?
Yeah, this is just broken in the Times in the UK. Now, this is astonishing because journalists have been trying to get this detail on Royal Lodge for years. What it shows is that he has not paid rent for 2 decades. He paid to live in the house, and then he paid to have it renovated, but there's no stipulation that he pays anything more than a peppercorn rent, and we don't know if he has paid that. Certainly there's no indication that he has. Now, if they want to get him out of that house, they have to effectively pay him out $1 million, because the lease, it's a very complicated mathematics problem. But the issue is that the Crown Estates have leaked the contract, effectively, to the Times, which shows to what extent the British public and the institutions that uphold it are now really questioning whether or not he should be living in this house.
Wow. Now, police are investigating claims that Prince Andrew tried asking a security officer to dig up some dirt on Virginia Giuffre.
That's right. So he had her social security number, which is quite interesting. How could you have a social security number if you don't know her? Presumably he procured it from Epstein, who of course employed Virginia Giuffre. But the question here is that he asked a taxpayer-funded police detail or security detail to look into this. Now that's a massive problem, because not only are you breaking privacy laws, but you're asking the taxpayer to do the wrong thing. So, or taxpayer-funded employee to do the wrong thing. So the Metropolitan Police, who have investigated Andrew 3 times and found nothing, are now on a dedicated look at this particular issue. And the press are very much pushing them to move quickly on this.
The relationship with the rest of the royal family now is dire, isn't it, between Andrew and the family?
This is a huge challenge for the monarchy and with how it will exist in the future. There's even calls for the king to abdicate, pass it on to William, and for William to massively modernise the royal family to get rid of...
Do you think there are calls for that?
There are calls for it. There's letters to the editor in the papers in Britain overnight saying the king needs to abdicate, William needs to modernise, you need to get William and... Meghan and Harry lose their titles, all other extraneous Andrew, others that don't need titles, and that he needs to come in and run a different sort of monarchy if it's to survive.